The journeys Ash have been on have created everlasting memories. Moments like meeting tons of new people and immediately getting shipped with them all will forever be embedded in our minds. Aside from that, a moment that really stood out to anyone who has watched the anime have been the special Pokemon Ash has bumped into, some of which have been shiny. With there being so many shiny Pokemon in the world, let's look into the ones that popped up in the show alongside Ash and were the most extraordinary encounters in the Pokemon anime. Today we look at the 20 shiny Pokemon Ash met in the anime. Back in the Diamond and Pearl series, we had an episode that revolved around Nerissa's two Dittos, one of them being a shiny Ditto. Nerissa uses this Ditto to have a battle against Ash, transforming itself into an Infernape after seeing Ash's Pokemon. Exactly like the games, this shiny Ditto does not transform into a shiny version of the Pokemon it's copying, but simply transforms into the original free-to-play version of the Pokemon, as that's the one in front of it in battle. It's nice to see that aspect of Shiny Ditto brought into the anime and answering a common question many people have about Shiny Ditto in the games when it transforms, making it an exciting shiny Pokemon to see brought into the anime. But unfortunately it keeps the same color of the Pokemon it's transforming into and loses its shiny aspect upon transforming. Still a cool shiny addition though. Nerissa, however, much like her Ditto, also transforms into other characters, as at first I thought this was a shiny version of Flint, but it turns out it was just someone trying to be a match. The next shiny Pokemon that popped up in the anime that was a really great addition for even more special reasons was a shiny Onix from the Black and White series. Shiny Onix stands out quite a bit, as even though it's extremely different from Crystal Onix, it still brought back those memories of Ash encountering that other special Onix in the Orange Islands, and letting us also see Onix's real shiny version brought in. During this episode, Dawn informs the general friend group that there's a special Onix living on Onix Island, and that the people who met it have had incredible things happen to them. That's a 1 in 8,000 chance. I think you used up all your incredible things happening token on that. But unfortunately, when they try to find the special Onix, a large group of Onix attack them and are needed to be calmed down and told to back off by this one shiny Onix. The best part with this shiny Onix is that shiny Onix gets to be the leader of the pack and not just an Easter egg addition. According to Cynthia's butler, it was moved by Meloetta's voice and is why it came to help them. Nice to see a shiny Pokemon as a subject of the episode, and as a main character of that episode, and even a pack leader in its own Rocky friend group, where it asserts itself as the boss of this group of Onix, that wasn't even able to be calmed down by the appearance of a mythical Pokemon when attacking Ash and friends. A shiny Swellow makes an appearance during a certain gym battle episode of the Ruby and Sapphire series. It's another shiny Pokemon that brings in a layer of greatness when watching, because not only is it a shiny, and not only does Ash have his own Swellow in the season as well, it's a gym leader's Pokemon. Winona sends out her shiny Swellow to take down Ash's Grovyle, and within no time Grovyle is taken down, leading Ash to fight against it with his own Swellow. Getting to see Ash in a gym battle is always a treat, but finishing it off with a final battle against a shiny Swellow with his own Swellow to take home the Feather Badge made this episode even more charming as he becomes victorious and earns another achievement in his journey for going up against a shiny Pokemon. There have been a few shiny Magikarp in the anime. When I started working on this topic a year ago, there were only 2, but now the Sword and Shield anime made sure that there's 3 to keep me on the hunt. In the Ruby and Sapphire series, there's a character named Jimmy that tells Ash the story of how he got all his Pokemon and explained that he traded a shiny Magikarp he accidentally caught to someone for his Charmeleon, which is a dumb trade, but not as dumb as me in grade 2 trading a Blaine's Charizard card for a Chikorita because I had a Bayleaf card and couldn't use it without Chikorita. And here we are now. Ash technically didn't get to meet that Magikarp, but it was within the episode. The X and Y series, however, had Ash and friends visit the Ambrid Aquarium to find out about the golden Magikarp statue. This leads them to finding the aquarium creator on the beach trying to catch a shiny Magikarp that they eventually see leaping from the water as the sun sets. But even after that, in the Pokemon Journeys series, we see one more shiny Magikarp in the Magikarp High Jump tournament named Kinking that takes the crown after Go's Magikarp fails to land. This is probably one of the most frequently seen shiny Pokemon in the anime, with a total of 3 different times the shiny Pokemon has shown up. A shiny Tapu Koko appeared in 2 episodes of the Sun and Moon series, helping the regular Tapu Koko bring Ash and Pikachu to a parallel version of Alola, where a Guzzlord appeared and devoured everything, turning the region into a wasteland. We don't get to see too much of the shiny Tapu Koko since it only appeared for a few seconds in the episode before Ash is sent away, but Ash teams up with Dia and Zeraora to try and send Guzzlord back through the Ultra Wormhole it came from, and when things seem to be lost, the shiny Tapu Koko helps them by immobilizing Guzzlord and activating the power to use Z-moves in this world. This could probably mean there are other shiny guardian deities in this alternate world, but for now, the only shiny deity that Ash met was the shiny Tapu Koko that's different from the regular Tapu Koko that he knows and battles against in his world. Speaking about alternate dimension Guzzlords, after Ash wins the tournament and becomes the first ever champion of Alola, a Guzzlord appears from an Ultra Wormhole and starts to wreak havoc. Couldn't have seen that one coming. Things get even worse as another 2 Ultra Wormholes open up and unleash 2 shiny Guzzlords into the Alola region. Ash informs everyone about Guzzlord's weak point after learning about this in his first encounter that we mentioned in the last section, and everyone sets off into a fight against each one. Having one Guzzlord jump into the battle with 2 little shiny Guzzlord henchmen to back it really makes a different experience for showing off shiny Pokemon. But still being able to see a shiny Ultra Beast and seeing Ash and friends fight against them as a boss battle against Ultra Beasts who are trying to destroy their region is a treat to have brought in. This next shiny Pokemon is a Pokemon that a lot of people have been waiting to see its shiny version pop up in the anime. A Plethora of Pikachu is an episode of the Sun and Moon series where Ash and friends visit Pikachu Valley. Within this episode, Ash meets a shiny version of his one true companion and the mascot of Pokemon, but with a gelled up hairstyle. This shiny Pikachu is called Boss, and becomes Ash's Pikachu's rival after a female Pikachu is nice to him and gets jealous enough to end up fighting to prove which of them is stronger. Just 2 boys going at it. Boss, however, ends up fighting against Team Rocket when they kidnap all of the Pikachu from Pikachu Valley. Piccola, Boss's trainer, uses this opportunity to show off the shiny Pikachu Z-move to save them all, which gains Boss the love from this female Pikachu. Unfortunately, Ash's Pikachu gets shafted, but did you see that Z-move? What was Ash's Pikachu gonna compete with against that at the time when he can't even use one? Kinda hot, not gonna lie. There's an episode in the Black and White series called A Pokemon of a Different Color, which already alludes to a possible shiny Pokemon being the main storyline of this episode. That definitely is the case as Ash and friends meet Claire, who tells them that she's in the search for a Druddigon of a different color that is located in a cave. There they meet Team Rocket, who angered the shiny Druddigon and ends up sending the evil trio flying and then going on its own rampage. After multiple attempts, Claire asks the shiny Druddigon to calm down, and after finally calming it down, Claire then asks the shiny Druddigon to go back to its cave as she no longer needs to catch it. But Druddigon refuses. Iris thinks that the shiny Pokemon wants to go with Claire, so she ends up catching it and making it her own. This is a nice shiny Pokemon episode that fully focuses on the shiny Pokemon, including it in the title, and even has the rare event of seeing a trainer catching it live, rather than already owning this rare type of Pokemon. We finally get our first movie shiny Pokemon on this list, as in the movie Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel, we are introduced to 2 new characters, Kamiya and Alva, who both have their own shinies as their main signature Pokemon. That's right, we have 2 shiny Pokemon in this section. Kamiya has a shiny Gardevoir, who even Mega Evolves in this movie, allowing us to see Mega Gardevoir shiny as well. Alva, on the other hand, has a shiny Gengar, who also Mega Evolves, letting us see Mega Albino Gengar. As both are main characters in the movie, their Pokemon have a lot of time to be seen both casually and in multiple ranked competitive fights. These Pokemon were also gifted to players in Japan during the 2016 release of this movie. Karabari is a special Pokemon trainer introduced in the Pokemon Journeys series. He's a shiny Pokemon collector, giving us the first shiny hunter in the show and the first representation of a shiny hunter in the anime. His pride and joy is his shiny Psyduck, the best Pokemon he ever caught and the one that inspired him to complete his Pokedex with only shiny Pokemon. Karabari's Pokemon aren't that great when battling, but that doesn't faze him as it isn't his main interest. In the 14th episode of the Pokemon Journey series, he shares with Ash and friends the many shiny Pokemon he has registered on his Pokedex, including an Onix, Swinub, Slakoth, and Bagon. Those shiny Pokemon were technically in the anime, but Ash didn't get to meet them in person and really only had a one-sided connection with them watching them from a screen, but we hope that Karabari and his trusty shiny Psyduck can return in future episodes and can show Ash and us his Pokedex progress and at least some of the shiny Pokemon in person. Hydreigon and Golurk both appeared during the 14th movie in the Pokemon franchise, but depending on which version you've watched, you'll notice that one of them is a shiny Pokemon. While watching the white Victini and Zekrom movie, Carlita's Hydreigon is in its shiny form, but if you watch the other movie, Black Victini and Reshiram, Hydreigon has its normal colors and Golurk steps in as the shiny Pokemon. These Pokemon are secondary characters during the story, but it's still a cool detail that the viewers might catch if they've seen both movies. As for Ash, he didn't even comment on their shiny versions, which is typical of Ash to be oblivious when someone is shining right in front of him. Shiny legendary Pokemon are always great to see in the anime, as the reasons for their shiny variants being brought in can make the story become even more memorable. The shiny trio of beasts made its way into the anime during the 13th movie, Zoroark Master of Illusions. The three shiny beasts battle against a rampaging Zoroark that is able to transform into them as it looks for its child. The shiny appearance of the legendary beasts help us know which of them is a transformation and which is the real Entei, Raikou, or Suicune during the battle across Crown City. It's a really interesting and different way to see any Pokemon's shiny version used in the anime. Accompanying this movie's release, there was also an event where the player could download a shiny form of the legendaries and letting us take them alongside us during our adventures in the Pokemon games, even unlocking a battle against Wild Zoroark in the Unova region. The Pokemon movie Genesect and The Legend Awaken very apparently introduces us to Shiny Genesect, as they put it directly on the poster. The Shiny is a part of and the leader of the Genesect army, which is composed of 4 regular Genesects and this one Shiny Genesect. The red Genesect is ruthless and even able to strike some sweat into Mewtwo during a battle. The movie and the anime expand on the backstory of these Pokemon, as they were created by Team Plasma as a part of their Project G. After their creation, the Shiny Genesect led the other 4 Genesect to attack Team Plasma and flee to their homeland before the events of the movie. There's no way that Ash's Noctowl wouldn't be on a list of shiny Pokemon that Ash met. It's the shiny Pokemon with the largest amount of appearances in the anime and was the 5th Pokemon Ash caught in the Johto region. This Noctowl is one of Ash's most memorable Pokemon, and a lot of Pokemon fans' first encounter with this rare breed of differently colored Pokemon. Apart from being shiny, Noctowl is smaller in size compared to other Noctowl, but is also highly intelligent and a fierce Pokemon to battle with. It is also a fan favorite that has come back in the Ruby and Sapphire series, the Pokemon Chronicle series, the Diamond and Pearl series, and the Black and White series. It even appeared in the most popular game, Pokemon Catch the Numbers, as one of the Pokemon that the player needs to get back from Team Rocket. The red Gyarados is one of the most iconic shinies in the Pokemon franchise ever since it was introduced as a required encounter in the Generation 2 games. Because of this, it wasn't a question of if Shiny Gyarados was going to appear in the anime, but when it was going to happen. The red Gyarados follows the plot from the game, as Team Rocket experimented on it when it was a Magikarp, making it rampage in the Lake of Rage until the day Lance catches it. This Gyarados manages to appear in the fights against Groudon and Kyogre in the Ruby and Sapphire series, and being of great help to Ash and friends. Lance even used it in the finals of the World Coronation series that took place in the Galar region in the Pokemon Journey series, and even Dynamaxing it to fight against Leon's Gigantamax Charizard. We have also seen a second shiny Gyarados appear in the anime, this time in the X and Y series episode Coming Apart at the Dreams, as it is part of Lysander's team, as he even has the ability to Mega Evolve it into its shiny Mega Gyarados version, which we don't get to see from Lance's shiny Gyarados. Maybe they'll end up matching the number of shiny Gyarados and shiny Magikarp again in the future. The final shiny Pokemon on this list is featured in one more movie, as Hoopa and the Clash of Ages features a shiny Rayquaza that is able to Mega Evolve into shiny Mega Rayquaza. During the movie, Hoopa summons the shiny Rayquaza alongside Latios and Latias, for Ash and Pals to ride them into battle against the shadow that Team Rocket released upon the city. The shiny Rayquaza, Latios, and Latias Mega Evolve after the shadow summons Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, Kyurem, Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina, and starts a battle around Dahara Tower. Seeing Ash team up with the shiny Mega Rayquaza and taking part in the fight against the army of legendary Pokemon summoned by the shadow is a great way to finalize the list of 20 shiny Pokemon that Ash has met, as well as showing off a great bond between him and this rare elusive Pokemon. Although Ash has encountered a few shiny legendary Pokemon, we've never seen him fight alongside one and interact as much as Ash did with this shiny Rayquaza.